All right, good day everyone. Welcome back to Dext Maths Tutor. So on to the next question. All right, number 6 says simplify root 12 into root 48 minus root 3. So the first thing you want to do is make sure and ensure that all the sorts have the same base, like they have the same roots. So the first thing is root 12 can otherwise be written as 4 times 3, which is also equals to, oh, sorry about that. Let me just try to adjust so that you can see better. So this is also equals to what? 2 root 3. In case you don't understand, just let me know in the comment section. Then I'll go over sorts again. So we have root 48 too. Root 48 equals to what? 12 times 3. Pardon me, 16 times 3. Yes, 16 times 3, which is also 4 root 3. So you can see from here that we have all of them in the same root. So we can rewrite the equation to be 2 root 3 times 4 root 3 minus root 3. So here we can open the brackets to have, by the time you multiply how this, you have 4 times 2, that will give us 8. Then we have root 3 all squared because we have two of them. So this can cancel out this. The root can cancel out the square root. Then we have our minus, pardon me. By the time you multiply this out, it will be 2 times 1 here. That will be 2, right? Then we have root 3 square. So this will also cancel out this to have 8 times 3 minus 2 times 3. I hope you can still see me. From here we have 8 times 3 will give us what? 24 minus 6, and our final answer is what? 18. Is that simple enough? All right, let's move on to the next. Okay, so number 7, this is the equation we're given, right? Or the inequality we're given, and the question was that we should represent the answer on a number line. First thing you need to do is to separate this, because from here you can see that there are two inequality signs here, right? So we have less than or equal to and less than. So you have to separate the equations first to have, so we have two equations here. To have, the first one will be minus 9 less than or equals to 2 over 3x minus 7. Then the second one on the other side, you start from here. We have 2 over 3x minus 7 less than 5. So we can solve this and we combine our answer on the number line. So the first thing you want to do here is to collect like terms, right? Now, in collecting our like times, I always prefer to have the inequality, to have the variable on the left hand side so that we can just work our answer out straight. So by the time you bring this to the other side, you have minus 2 over 3x, right? Less than or equals to, we still have minus 7 here, but by the time 9 is crossing to the other side, we have plus 9. Do you understand? So from here, we can have what? Minus 2 over 3x less than or equals to, by the time you solve this, you have 9 minus 7, which will give us 2. From here, you move on to say, to have x alone, we have to divide both sides by this coefficient, which is minus 2 over 3. So we say minus 2 over 3x over, just pardon the way I'm writing, just so that to be clear, right? Less than. Now, instead of less than, now the inequality sign will change, because there's a rule in inequality that says that when you're dividing by a negative sign, your inequality sign will change to the reverse of what you have originally. Please pay attention. So instead of having less than or equals to, now we have greater than or equals to. And this only happens when you're dividing by a negative sign. So you have 2 divided by minus 2 over 3. Do you understand? So this one can cancel out this. We have x greater than or equals to what? 2 times, they will switch, right? We have minus 3 over 2. So this can cancel out this, and then our x is greater than or equals to minus 3, right? Then we can come to this other side to solve for this second equation, inequality rather. This already is quite simple. I mean, we already have the variable on the left hand side. So we have minus 2 over 3x less than 5. By the time this crosses the other side, we have plus 7, right? So we have 2 over 3x less than 12. Then we can say 2 over 3x over 2 over 3, so that this can cancel out this, less than 12 over 2 over 3. Now, the reason this sign is not changed is because there is no negative here, right? So we have x less than 12. By the time this switch, we have 12 times 3 over 2. So here, 2 will go here 1, 2 will go here how many times? 6. So our x now is less than or equals to 6 times 3, which is 18. So we can now represent this on a number line. And let's look at our boundary or our values. The what we have at this edge is what? Minus 3, and what we have here is 18. Now the part that can also be tricky is this: when you're representing with something that has boundary, as in this one, you have to shade let's put 0 here, somewhere here. You have to shade whatever you have here. It has to be shaded, which shows that the boundary is closed, right? But on this other end where we have only, sorry, this is 18, not 8, where we have only less than without a boundary, without an equals to sign, better put, right? The boundary, I mean, sorry, the circle will be left open. So we have open and close as a word. So this is our final answer. So this is us representing on the number line. All right, let's move on to the next question. So this is number 8. Number 8 says that in that diagram that you were shown, it says x plus, or you're being shown better put, we have x plus y equals to 220. Then the question says find the value of n. So you have to first understand that angle on a straight line equals to or sum up to 180. Also, angle in a triangle also sum up to 180. We'll be using these two facts to solve our question. Now, the first thing you want to know is that okay, let me just draw it here so that you understand what I'm talking about. So this was what was shown, right? So we have x here and then we have y here. Then where we have n, which is what they asked us to do for. Now let's call this place, let's say A, and let's call this place B, just to help us solve our question. So we can say y plus A equals to 180. As I said earlier, I hope you can still see the angles on a straight line equals to 180. Then we can also say that x plus B, right, equals to what? 180. Now from here, since what we really want is A, because it is the value of A and B that will help us get the value of N, we can make A subject of formula from here to have A equals to 180 minus Y, and from here we can say B equals to 180 minus X. Help you get that. So we can now add this value and this value and this one equals to 180 to get our answer, right? Don't forget that sum of angles in a triangle equals to 180. So the first one is A, but our A equals to what? Well, let me first write it. A plus B plus N equals to 180. How? Sum of angles in a triangle. I don't know with that. So we have A equals to 180 minus Y. We're just substituting what we have here earlier, right? Then B equals to what? Plus 180 minus X, right? Plus our N equals to what? 180. Now from here, we can collect like terms to say that 180 plus 180, right? Minus y minus x plus n equals to 180. From here, we can say by the time you had this, you have 360, right? You can factorize minus out here to have y plus x plus n equals to 180. So from here, you find out that we're given the value of y plus x, or otherwise x plus y. This is it here. I hope you can see it. So from here, we can come back to say 360 minus 220, which is the value of this, plus n equals to 180. By the time you subtract this, you have 0. 6 minus 2 give us 4. We have 140 plus n equals to 180. Now you can collect like terms again to have n equals to 180 minus 140. So our n equals to what? 40 degrees. I think that's quite simple. As far as you're able to interpret your question, you can solve anything, like absolutely anything. All right, moving on to the next question. Okay, so the number 9 question says that it says x greater than y and 3 less than y. So which of the following statements, or which of the following is true? Is or are true actually. So we have option 1, option 2, and option 3. Now it's quite a dicey question. It's not too dicey, like not difficult, but it needs a lot of your thinking. So the first thing we want to do is to analyze these two inequalities. The first one is x greater than y. X greater than y can otherwise be written as what? Okay, when we say x, okay, another thing that helps my student when I'm trying to explain to them is that I try to help them picture it with numbers. This is what we can really relate with. They said x is greater than y. So look for a number in your head. Okay, let me pick 9, right? Greater than y is greater than, that means whatever y will be must be lesser than 9. So let's pick 5, right? So another way you can write this is to say that y is less than x, or 5 is less than 9. Do you understand? Just trying to help you relate it with numbers. Then the second thing we're given is 3 is less than y. Let's represent this y with it. Okay, we already represented with the number here. We have 5, right? So 3 is less than 5, which is of course true. Another way we can write is to say that y is greater than 3, right? Which is the same thing as saying 5 is greater than 3, which is also true. Do you understand? So if you're trying to combine these two equations because they have a common factor, what will you write? For me, I will start with the greatest, which is x, because representing we have 9, we have 5, and we have 3. Which one is the greatest? 9. Or let me write it here, 9, right? Then followed by 9 is greater than 5, and our 5 is greater than 3. So what is 9 technically? 9 is what? X, and then 5 is what? Greater than 5 is what? Y, then greater than 3. Do you understand? So those are the simplest ways. So let me circle out the ones that are true or the ones that we need. So anything outside of these 5 is wrong. So let's look at our option. The first one says y is greater than 3. Is it true? Can we find it in these 5 options? Yes, this is it. So number 1 is true. Then the second one say x is less than 3. We really can't find it here. X cannot be less than 3 because x is actually the greatest, so it is wrong. Then the third one says that x is greater than y and y is greater than 3, which of course is true. So we say number 1 and number 3 are true. Do you understand? So it's that simple. It's quite dicey, but really, just looking at it, you can get your answer. But sometimes you really need someone to take you through the process and understand how. So I know if you see this question, I know what to do with it. So let's move on to the next question. So the next question we are solving is actually simple. The question says 3/4 of a number added to 2.5 that number gives 13. So all we need to do is represent that number and then we can go on to solve. So let's say let the number, this is m, be x as our general number. So 3/4 of a number. So we are saying 3/4 of x. Of course, this can otherwise be written as times. You know that is added to 2.5 that number of x again, right? And it gives us 13. So I think this is what we have. Then we can interpret. Before I move to the next page, let me interpret it here. So we have 3/4x plus 2.5x equals to 13. I think we can solve it from here, right? So we have 3/4x plus what we had earlier was 2.5. So we can rewrite that as 5/2x to give us 13. So all we need to do from here is to solve the left hand side to give us by looking for the LCM and then make it just one single expression, then we can cross multiply. So from here we have 3x, from here we have that's 10x, right? Equals to what? 13. From here we can cross multiply. So we have 3x plus 10x equals to 13 times 4. Now by the time this is supposed to be 10. There is a way that your brain works faster than your hands. It happened because in my mind, I already knew what I was going to be, so I already wrote it. Just follow me. So we have 13x, right, equals to 13 times 4. I'll tell you why I did not bother to, solve this because 13 is here, 13 is here. So it's just simple. So you can divide both side by 13. So have this, we cancel this, and this can easily cancel out this. So we have our x equals to 4. So you see that's quite simple. So let's move on.